Tom Ziglar here with the Zig Ziglar Corporation. I'm the CEO, and I'm so excited you are joining me today, the Ziglar Leadership Academy. We created this academy for people just like you, people who want to learn how to coach themselves and others at a higher level. Specifically for life, leadership, and sales coaches, we're going to go into skills and attitudes and efforts that you can do to increase that if that's what you want. And maybe you're checking out the coaching industry. You might even be looking for a coach. And I just want you to know we can help connect you with the coach that could help you in any of those areas. And you are in the coach leadership module of the Ziglar Coaching Academy right now. And we're going to talk about in the business map, which stands for Maximum Aligned Performance, we're going to talk about vision, values, and virtues, because these are the keys. So years ago, kind of a Zig story, we were doing a big proposal and this company said, we want you to come in and develop our leadership team, our staff and everything. And so we came in and we said, hey, this is how we do it. Here are the qualities of success, the virtues and the values that we really teach. And we're gonna do it over these amount of days. And it was awesome. And it was a good investment. And they said, well, have you ever been into an organization where the training didn't work? And I said, oh, absolutely. We've taken this information into a business where it didn't work. And they said, why didn't it work? And I said, well, it's real simple. We taught certain values and virtues and what we call qualities of success. We taught that as a foundation for how you do life, how you treat each other, how you treat your customer. And we rolled that out, got great response, but the leadership of that business didn't make decisions based on those same values and virtues. So I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't agree with the values and virtues aspect of what we do in our leadership program, our program is not for you. Because the number one thing that a top performer is looking for in a business is the vision that business has and the values and virtues by how they treat their customers and each other. A top performer is a top performer for a reason. And it's because they live their life with virtue. They live their life with love and character and integrity and humility and respect and kindness. They walk into every situation knowing that there's a right way to do things based on the right principles. They look at every person in that room that they're serving as an opportunity to open a door to really understand the needs that are there. And so their motive is for the other people. That's how top performers have a long track record. There are some people who will become a top performer in an industry for a time, but when they fall from grace, it's almost always a values and virtues mistake that they made. Those are hard to recover from. You can, but they're hard. And so what do we mean by vision, values, and virtues? So number one, as a leader, as a coach leader, you've got to cast a vision for your people. You've got to say, hey, this is the difference that we make in our business. Here's the problem we solve. I'll give you an example. I was working with a client and we were working with their people and the leader. And he said, I wish my technicians really knew that what they did was important. And they sold high-end refrigeration services, just as a background. So they would go into food manufacturing plants and hospitals in the LA basin, and they would serve those companies, and they had very complicated chemicals that they were working with. I mean, if they did it wrong, people could get hurt and the system could shut down. And they were doing this for food manufacturing and processing and hospitals. And so he said, yeah, I wish our technicians believed that their job had value. And I looked at him and I said, are you kidding me? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you work in hospitals, right? And he said, yeah. I said, well, what if you do your job wrong? He said, well, the refrigeration would go down. And I said, well, that doesn't really matter in a hospital though, right? And they said, well, no, actually it does, because we'd lose the blood supply, we would lose medications that need to be at the same temperature. And so I said, so your people are actually doing a life-changing job? People's lives depend on it? And he said, yeah. I said, well, there's the vision. We save lives, right? Because that's really what they do. It's not fixing a refrigeration unit. It's we save lives. And then I said, well, what about the food processing plants? He goes, yeah, we go in and we work on that too. And I go, well, if refrigeration breaks down on a food processing line, what happens? He says they shut the plant down. They can't produce anymore until it's fixed. I go, oh, so they send all the line workers home with pay? He says, no, they wouldn't do that. Those are hourly people. If the plant breaks down, people go home without pay. And I go, oh, well, that doesn't really matter if they miss a few days of pay. I mean, people who work on a line, they're probably making a lot of money anyway. They don't need it. He goes, no, actually, they live paycheck to paycheck. I was just messing with, I knew that. I go, so really, if your guy goes in and doesn't do his job, people get sent home without pay, which might mean the difference between having a Christmas or no Christmas at all for their family. And he said, yeah. I said, so you're telling me that your people provide Christmas? He's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And you see what I just did there? As a business owner, as a coach leader, there's a vision that you cast. And top performers are looking for that vision. Their heart wants to sing for something that's meaningful, that makes a difference. And so start thinking about, as a coach leader, how you can cast a vision. So the company has this vision and mission, and your team does this, and without your team, what happens to that? You know, my dad, Zig Ziglar, said that, not everybody's in sales in the business, but everybody who's in the business can blow a sale. Am I right? How many of you have quit doing business with somebody because you got mistreated by service or customer care or delivery or manufacturing or the front desk or whatever? We all have, right? It drives us nuts. But if I understand the vision as a top performer and I can align with that, wow, I get excited. And then virtues and values. So virtues and values are almost identical. I just separate the two words to kind of give you context in that. A virtue is how we treat each other. Kindness, respect, humility. A value and the values that we do business with are the things that we put on the wall. Those are the 3 to 7 values that we commit to as an organization. We're always going to treat people with integrity, right? These are things that you see on the typical company that you walk in and talk to. So as you think about that, as a coach leader, if you want to inspire, motivate, retain, and help maximize the performance of your people, you got to start with the vision, the values, and the virtues. Because if you disappoint a top performer on vision and virtues, they're going to leave. If you don't live up to the values that you say you have, they're going to leave. All right, thank you so much for being a part of this lesson. If you like this lesson, like it, comment, share. We need more people here. If you know somebody who is a coach or looking for a coach, send them here, and we'll see you next time right here.